Hi there, my name is Jason Harlow. I'm a teaching professor in the physics department at University of Toronto, and I want to make this video to show you how to use Zoom to teach. And this video in particular is for my Physics 151 TAs this semester, but it might be useful for other TAs as well, or for other professors. And I'm using Zoom to actually record this video right now. So let me just share this. Okay, so Zoom. So synchronous classes can be facilitated by using the Zoom video collaboration tool. You can share your computer screen, as I'm doing right now. You can allow someone else to share their screen. You can run polls and surveys for students. You can allow for chat questions. You can create breakout rooms where they can have small group discussions, and you can record, as I'm doing right now. As a TA in this course, you must host Zoom meetings. And then we'll provide your students with a link on the course website that they can click into at the appropriate time to join the meeting that you are hosting. So you're going to have to install the Zoom client on your computer. So zoom.us is where it comes from. You need to test your mic to make sure that it's working and that your video is working. And there's some links here, which I'll put in the comments below. Please be on a wired internet connection if possible, or at least a good fast internet connection in a quiet room which is free of distractions. A microphone headset can isolate other noise from entering the meeting, such as barking dogs or vacuum cleaners. Even earbud microphones that have the microphones attached to them could be sufficient, could really help. So to try to make your audio as clear as possible, that's important. To log in to Zoom, you go to a browser and you actually go to utoronto.zoom.us. The page looks a little like this. You click on log into Zoom, and this redirects you to the Quirkus login, where you will use your UTOR ID and Quirkus password to get your full subscription rights. For example, this gives you the ability to host meetings that are longer than 40 minutes, which you don't get with the free Zoom account. Settings. Okay, so there are a lot of settings that you can adjust in the Zoom web page accessed via the browser. So in the navigation menu, you click on settings. Now there's just pages and pages of settings, but I'm going to start going through them, and when I get bored, I'll just choose the ones that I actually changed. But waiting room, I tend to turn off. What that means is that when you've got a meeting going, students can enter, and if your waiting room is on, they don't enter the meeting until you manually allow them in. So I don't like doing that. But it could be a way of managing who's in your room. All the require passcode options should be on. This is what actually allows you to turn off the waiting room. It just means that the link will have a password in it. The only authenticated users option should be off. This just allows anyone who has that link to get into your Zoom meeting. Host video on, that automatically starts your video. Participants video off. Now, this is their initially their video will be off, but they can choose to turn it on if they wish. Audio type, telephone and computer audio. This allows people to phone into your Zoom meeting. So I allow that. Join before host is off. I guess the meeting shouldn't start till you're actually running it. Enable personal meeting. This is just another link. I turned some things off. Mute participants upon entry on. That's probably a good idea. But if you're having a very small meeting or office hours or group meeting or something, you could turn that off, I guess. Some other stuff, just a bunch of stuff. Chat, I like to turn that on. Private chat, I also have that on so the students can chat between each other if they want. Basically, there's just a lot of, if you keep scrolling, you'll see lots and lots of settings. There's a few more I care about. Polling, you need to turn on. Screen sharing, you need to turn on. I chose host only. And then if there is a student or participant in your Zoom meeting who wants to share their screen, you can always allow it on the fly during the meeting. Whiteboard can be useful, turn that on. Breakout room on, we're going to talk about this more later. And also click on allow host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. We're going to talk about that later. Virtual background on. If you don't like your background, I'm in my son's bedroom right now, so maybe I should change it to something spacey. In meetings. Okay, so then you need to schedule a meeting. So here's an example for my Physics 151 TAs. You can put the topic, you can put when the meeting starts, you can put how long it is. My practicals are 3 hours long. You can click on recurring meeting and put weekly recurrence and repeat every week. Put the end date of the semester. Now, keep in mind that all of these things are for convenience for setting up scheduling on your Outlook calendar and stuff, but they don't matter. You can always start a recurring meeting when you want to. You just go into your Zoom and click start meeting and the meeting starts. So I don't really understand what all this stuff is about because it doesn't automatically start. You have to start the meeting. And if you want to start the meeting when it's not scheduled, you can do that and then it appears. So, but I always tend to set these up. Okay. So once you've got a meeting going and you've got participants in there, I would suggest for bandwidth issues to make things a little faster, if you have a lot of people in your class, probably the students should have their video off and their microphones muted during your presentation. The microphone muted especially because if they have any background noise or something, it could be a distraction. But I mean, you might want to let them keep their video on. I guess it does sort of, you know, if people's videos are on, the other participants can click around and see that there's other students that are really there, and you might like that. You can share your screen by clicking on the share screen button, screen share button at the bottom of the application window. You can either share your entire screen or one of your screens, or you can choose a specific open application to share, such as this PowerPoint or your web browser. Be conscious of what you're sharing when you activate a screen share. If you do share the entire screen, you'll want to ensure that your email or other private documents are not open, as everyone in the meeting will see what you will see. Okay, I want to talk about polling. Polls are multiple choice questions you ask your students to vote on. You will see their answers in a histogram. Polls are an excellent way to engage your students in what you're doing and for you to get some immediate feedback from them. Polls can be done on the fly during a meeting, but you'll have to type the question and some answers. Polls can also be set up in advance on the Zoom webpage in your browser. So in the navigation window, click on Meetings, and then find your meeting and click on the name of the meeting. Then you scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there's an Add button that you click on to add polls, and just type them in. And then during the meeting, you click on Start Poll, select the poll. Keep in mind, you know, I'm doing this on a computer, but some of your participants might be using a phone. So the polls show up in a little pop-up window if you're using a computer. If you're using a phone, it just covers your screen. So you won't be able to see anything else during the poll. And then if you share results, again, if a student's using their phone to do their Zoom, the results will take up the whole screen on their phone or tablet. As far as I know, there's no real record kept of student answers and no easy way that I know of to award points to students for these poll responses. They're just for fun only. Okay, and lastly, breakout rooms. So during a meeting, you can pose a discussion to a question or something, and you can send all of your students to breakout rooms to discuss in small groups. So from the student perspective, you're going to disappear, and they'll just find themselves in a little Zoom call with a small number of participants. And you can choose the breakout room size, so 3 or 4 students per breakout room seems about right to me. I wouldn't do too many more than that, or else it's just sort of like another class. You are able to kind of drop into the breakout rooms one at a time. So they'll be in their little Zoom call, and then you might suddenly appear and say, how's it going? You might not want to do that, but you're allowed to. You can also broadcast a message out to all breakout rooms so that they just see a message. And if you're recording your Zoom call, only the main room is recorded. What happens in the breakout rooms is not recorded. And after some amount of time, you can end the breakout rooms and pull all the students back to the main room. It might be a good idea to set a timer so that your students know when they are going to get pulled back. There's a way to do that, I think. And normally, the breakout rooms are randomly assigned. That's the default. So if you do multiple breakout rooms, if you do a lot of breakout room discussions, then every time your students go to a breakout room, they'll be with a different little group of friends. If you wish to have the students have sort of ongoing discussions with the same friends in their breakout rooms, you can do that by pre-assigning breakout rooms for your Zoom meeting. This is a little tricky, but I love it. So what you do is you go to the meeting options section, you select breakout room pre-assign, and then you click on import from CSV. So for this to work, all the students have to really be logged into this official UTOR-ID Zoom account that they have. So they go to utoronto.zoom.us, same as you do, to log in through that portal thing. And then you need to be able to create a CSV file with the names of all the breakout rooms and the email addresses of all the students that you want to put in each breakout room. And so you use their first name dot last name at mail.utoronto.ca email address, which you can get somehow off of Quarkus. This can be obtained by going to this advanced group tool that can be on your Quarkus, or you could ask someone smart like April Seeley or something like that to give you a list of, or Teresa Baptiste to give you a list of student emails. I'm going to set this up for Physics 151, by the way. And then if there's any issues like absences or unexpected students or something, you can manage the breakout rooms during the meeting and override what is in the CSV files. So that's it. I'm gonna click stop sharing. Every time you stop sharing, it goes back to the big screen with your face. But I hope this helps. And to my Physics 151 TAs, I'll see you in the TA meeting.